I didn't remember where to stop.
That was true. Again, I got to some shaggy lady.
What?
And he shop track get tongue up to up gate. And then got to Shine go like again some good work. Shine tongue lap down. Ni shop track get tongue up to up gate. And I gonna 6 something. Three or 6 ones on. Ona Mokpa Tang and
Jiwani Kebara. Yeah. Sanje Chodan Soja Chona La Janjo Bado Daji Chijenji Chona Sanje Chodan Soja Chona La Janjo Bado Daji Chijenji Chona Sanje Chodan Soja Chona Janjo Bado Daji Chijenji Chona Sanje Tayatan gade para som gade bodis. Tayatan gade para som gade bodis. Tayatan gade para som bodis. Ola so takanje an kangal samjita ja시들레스 워들레스 안 단다. 네, takanje 제 semje 탐제게 도 산제 고마를 버 진에 토바차. 안 대체도 안 자주스면 나도 수주는 나도 나와래 심벌을 토벌 도제 좀 많아 가지고 가서 봐봐 딱간제 제 가서다 단 라브레 비숑티 얘기 삼삼체 딱간제 뭐들지.
So first of all, a big tash delay to everybody. Nice to see you all again. And that we set our motivation from the outset, as we usually do, to attain. Our aim is to attain the purest state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. Knowing that in order to attain such a state, I must understand what those trainings are, what those teachings and trainings are, and also then to put them into practice. And that, and so for this reason, I am here this morning to listen to talk on the graduated path to enlightenment teachings.
이게 제시 빅스 잡는 진짜네 미 사바르니 요사데 안데 또 제시 빅스 잡나 아니 다다데 로아페나 찾아봐이나 나라도 다다 내대서 내디 다가 저 코아스기 요로 코아스인데 다 동해그랑 시처럼 나라도 지금 될래 다 지금 나라도 강가 대화를 동해 밑에 버리대 얘네야 내 다가를 하네 뭐저 지금 다 가서 대화 다 다가랑 고콘에 대바이나 소소게 찍어서다 딩케에 대화 좀 그래서 남야 매야 되겠지. 근데 동해가 라시 되겠지. 좋아. 딱 이제 동해 유해 동해 차바 뒤지고 동해 숨나가 뒤 되겠지. 다 된대 지네. 다 된대 다 동해가 어디 간게 하고 차바 뒤지 다 유해 동해에 나라도 대화지. 근데나 고콘에 되겠지. 뒤에다 지금 삼로 걸어 땡 사고 당에서 가서 하고 여다 얘네야 차바 뒤지고 동해에 뭐 하죠 되겠지. 딱 이제 차바 뒤쪽에 동해이 뭐 마신 거 봐도 아니 뭐좀 못하는 동해 차바 교회 동해 얘기 아니 생활도 주 되겠지. 이거 다들 뭐좀 원초거리 개체 뭐 쉬우지래 정도. 안 된대 이거 인사 아니 뭐좀 남을 좀 지야 단 남는 지가 내가 된대 좀 되고 봐.
And so since there are a few new faces here, I just want to offer a very quick, kind of a brief explanation of indeed, the reality of where we're at in life in this place at the moment. So what we are in, this reality that we call a cyclic existence, and that this is defined as in the nature of suffering itself. That really, this is the overall tenor or tone of where we're at, and that's all. We might have, discrete experiences of happiness, discrete experiences of suffering, and so on. But what we are actually in is in the nature of suffering, and as long as we're here, we never really can get beyond that nature of suffering, and that in Buddhist terms, suffering is classified into 3 different categories. One is the suffering of suffering, which equates with like the pain, mental and physical pain that we are all so used to. And then the second is called the suffering of change. And this is really what we would regard as happiness. But it is in fact, it's a type of suffering, because whatever happiness there is, it always turns into suffering. And then the third, and the most crucial, is called pervasive suffering. And that here it says, unless we are able to get an understanding and then to overcome this third classification of suffering, pervasive suffering, and then we're always going to end up in a cyclic existence. And we're in worse than that, that once in cyclic existence, because of pervasive suffering, it's going to simply induce the other two types of suffering also.
大感觉我做的碰不的养来养到来的，到底东北个人幸福的我出过去，本来吃下巴一呢，本来我做到完你送这个的了，俺那的拿着的刚刚休息吃完了，刚刚吃到他改起学的，我去了这我马这这带的改起不来是，可是俺那做碰不的啥这个碰不一百一张，东北个碰不一百一张，他去了个那个改的吃好的哪没有了，可是。拿着这个弄出做嘛的，俺那做碰不弄出要万一张，俺那碰不的，俺那现在这我马这。And then Java me take the check out there with a kid at the shake. Because I got the Pumbo, don't make a Pumbo is the teacher.
And so another way of looking at this is that the very what we call our body-mind continuum, known as the aggregates, or the 5 aggregates of existence, that these again are in the nature of suffering, and it's this process of again and again and again and again taking on a new life, being reborn again into what are called or referred to as the contaminated aggregates. This is also another explanation of cyclic existence. And again, it's the very fact of having these contaminated aggregates that leaves us prone to suffering. And a classic example of that is in the current pandemic. It's like even 2, 3, 4 months ago, up to now even, because of COVID-19, we are all being advised to stay indoors, do not go outside, do not congregate with other people, and so that because you will, because of those conditions, you will get sick. And so, yes, the disease is one aspect of that, but the other aspect of that is because we have these contaminated aggregates. We have the kind of body that is inclined to get sick. And so this is another part of the equation of COVID-19, that here we have to remain indoors and to self-isolate because of the fact that not only is there is a contagious disease out there, but we have a contaminated set of aggregates that's likely to catch that disease. And so this is it's a great leveler, in fact, isn't it? So that whether we are Buddhist or not, or whether we're involved in any kind of spiritual tradition or not, nevertheless, we all have these contaminated aggregates. And so the advice to be cautious is there for all of us, that if you go outside, that you are likely to meet with the conditions that will cause you to be sick because you have contaminated aggregates. And so it's like especially for us Buddhists, then we understand that through the texts that tell us this, and that through our own recognition, we can recognize the extent to which the aggregates of body and mind are contaminated. And so we are further inspired to get beyond this state of contamination and to attain liberation. And so it's and it's not something that we just simply explain to others. That's something that we must apply to ourselves as well.
what did the Chenta, what did the Chenta would get? That didn't by Insa, and the Saja, you all people, Yana Yando Led, to make a shit. That Yana Yando Led, Kebutua, Ke, and Kewalatene, and a Gawa now, and a Tamachi to me for the young ticket. Ticket Karela Kevin, and the nigger Saja, Yolo, Pubu, Pubuta, Pubu, Ke the Chatikua. That the nigger Ke, you the Chemato Bato, and Mutuni Ke, Kewalatene, and Ke God not chilla so bad, don't get the move to the young age. Young age. That the name you do, that you make a melody, you may have came a you might cast Pobo. Move in Savage called Juliet Tango Yard. Call it Yeling to call it Henry Chicken to go boy. And Juliet Tango Yobasa, and take Jukarisha, say journey, and it depends to Motoch. Takudwa.
And so, therefore, we are within this reality, which is in the nature of suffering. And that, because of having these contaminated aggregates that we have described, and because of taking them on again and again and again in what is known as rebirth again and again and again, it simply puts us in line for all of the sufferings then that happen subsequently. And so that all of our the suffering of birth, old age, sickness, death, and so on, all happen because we are again taking on this set of contaminated aggregates. And that it's important to understand that as long as we continue to create the causes and conditions for this to be the case, there is no end to this scenario. And that it's very, very important then that to understand that the contaminated aggregates that we are talking about that lead to all of the other suffering every time we enter into a new life, that this is a functioning object, and as such it depends upon the causes and conditions to bring it about. And this is the key issue that we need to understand, that we need therefore to seek out what those specific causes and conditions are. And if we can abandon those conditions and clear them out, then we will not have to take on this contaminated set of aggregates again.
That the name is that Tengi Diki Yoy Chedota, Langarimbatea Way Chilata, Sanjing Surata, Tayeva Jutu, and the Kanga, Dujatic Nams Line Chedo, Dujatic Teto Chicala Den Nams Lang Demo Yoy Chedo, that number goes on the Buntic Demo Chedua.
And indeed, this is the sole purpose for all of the teachings that we refer to as the graduated path teachings, all of that which has been taught by the Buddha, all of the commentaries and teachings that are the full canon of the Buddha's teachings, are all for that purpose, to attain what is known as definite happiness, stable and definite happiness, through the abandonment of these contaminated aggregates.
What that? And what the Munetanaga and Judy Karisha, Jude and Judy Papa Zejo, let the normal that took some la 2 years. Took some that because of the tank of the less out there took some there and Tanzim Maribwe Toya, Tanzim Maribwa Singente, and Tanzim Maribwa Singente, and because of the lorry. Then the lorry, that the Tuba Yimite, and Rangi you immediately. And called Tanzim Maribwe, you tend the Tubaji, Yoba Yinani, and called Lord Tuba Meva Chowder, and the Tapsi Yoma. Dilemma around the Tuba Meva Yimbati, and Jumza Samotana, what to go Yoba into, and called Tado Zimajiba Lodi, Tuba Retive. Called Tuba Yimba Yinsa, and call Nebo, Matuba Logi Yore. And the Dilatene, and it was a Tame, Matuba Logi, then they loaded Tameto Shell Chattel. And the Dilatene, and it could Tuba, Tado Ziba Lodler, New York. New York, and you call it Joy, and the Casadeta. No more to some digger, Meva Chai, you take it, couldn't you in nyembo joba nyembo yoba zaba nyembo topden yoba yimba yinza ande 잡된 게 참아 요be nyembo joba yinza 안 거 매바 차에 탑시죠 안 좀제 딜라 때문에 아니 거 다지 가자지 좀제 딜라 때문에 다 가자지 탑시 요바 이나 좀 맞아봐 이나 다랑도 노트 차되기도 다 대자 아니 말아줘다 믹스에게 다 딜라 탑시 요메지 좀제 사모 땅통도 누바체 것 같아 먼저 미 류대를 하가 누바체 좀 매바 인자 아니 미 남주토는 뭐 초토예요 그렇지 아니 딜라 때문에 다 가자 뭐 초바 딜라 때문에 다 뭐제 딜라 다 라브르 주고 되게 레티고 요래 레티고
So the scenario then is that we have to see the problem. And so what we have is this contaminated set of aggregates. We're stuck in cyclic existence, which is in the nature of suffering. Why? Because we have accumulated the karma to bring this about. And this karma then is predicated on the actions that we have engaged in, motivated by the afflictive emotions. And these are referred to the three poisonous minds of attachment, aversion, and ignorance. And the key one of these is the ignorance. And this is a specific ignorance of grasping at the inherent existence of a self-entity. And that this is a mind that is a mistaken mind. And this is known as the root of cyclic existence itself. And that here it establishes that there's some sort of objective existence of a self-entity. And this is completely and utterly mistaken. And what we must do is to really be able to contradict this mindset through applying the antidote minds. And this is specifically a wisdom of selflessness. And this is something which directly opposes the mistaken attitude of seeing a self-entity as objectively existent. This is very, very important that we understand that this can be the mistake can be rectified through developing and cultivating the mind that directly opposes that mistake, and that is the wisdom of selflessness. And that is, a mind which is cultivated through fully supportive, valid reasoning. Very important to understand that. And that so we are indeed through the teachings themselves, and indeed through the graduated path teachings that we are discussing today, given the means by which we can apply that antidote to overcome that root of cyclic existence. And the only reason we are not successful is that we simply don't apply that ourselves. We don't put the effort in ourselves, and therefore there is no one else to blame if that's the case. But the teachings are clear from our side that we approach the graduated path teachings. We are informed that we have a particularly advantageous life form in the terms of being born as a human with human intelligence. We are able to recognize valid reasoning and be able to understand how to apply it. And so therefore we are in a kind of like the pole position for being able to advance on the spiritual path. And that this is the impetus behind the study of the graduated path teachings.
What did it say? That the rob that Kebaina and 다 didn't catch much to some such a Kotorua, didn't catch much. Rare, Takatana, Narazo, Miss Suyin by that Dunjunjela, that's Suyin by the Kujo died, Digi each other Kujo Yorba. Digi each other Kujo down to that Digi. Digi to be Yoba Inata, Dimatum Tenata, Pepangurwata.
And so the least we should expect from this kind of introduction is that somehow we sense that there is some key point being made here. There's something quite essential that is being discussed, and that maybe something in us is moving, is shifting. And that here, the idea that if what is being discussed here, definite happiness, if it really exists, and we did nothing about it, we did nothing to try and generate it, and that would be true disaster. That would be a tragedy.
어디로 다 되는 거죠. 되래. 아니 오늘 소소 미세 데이터 정보잖아. 다 돌아주고 다 되는 이면서 먼저 저 가서데 다 뒤냠도 다 개쳐보지 가서 먼저 미세 돌아 만도 이라 가르치고 그러스나 다 되게 자자 신배 토네. 랑게 제바잖아. 다 산지가 송아래 기부 담바지가 송아래 삼 참마자 왔잖아. 좀전 삼로다. 랑게 냠뉴레 때. 아니 초망고 전에 때네. 다 가서 저 가서래 가서래 옹비시아발 낭대바 좀 많이 받잖아. 배 또스 배팅 삽드치네. 또 좀센 돈에 삼로다나 다들 레도 레모도. 나 가기도 나다 나를 대바도 대바면도 텐데 잠라 참마샤 받잖아. 또스 마 삽드 좀센 돈에 바 삼로다나 텐데 못쳐도 그래. 다 대마면저 랑게 나의 통에 고에 텐데 잘라 치바 이나니 아니 뭐에 내줘도 통도고 말 봐. 다 뭐에 내줘 통하는 것도 또띵 삽드도네. 통화 튀어봐 텐데 잠라 참마샤와chen 또 띵 삽다 삼로다나 아니 그 간잠전에 그것도 좀제 통화해 줘 봐. 좀제 통도. 근데 좀제 저 통화이나 아니 랑이 미제데 저한테 담바 제도 그러 봐. 때문에 미제 촐라도 있는 것도 와. 무슨 zam물에나 미제 패쳐 촐라도 되어라. 촐라도 되어라. 미 유진다 치부 시부터 촐라도 되어. 다들 인자 무슨 촐라만도 촐라다. 내가 니 좀제 돈을 삼로다는 내가 니 찾고도 와.
And so this it's very important then that we understand the importance of this life and avoid the real tragedy of a wasted life. And so it's key to say that to establish what is the most important focus of this life, and that here when we present what is the teachings, the teachings of the Buddha. It's not presented as valid simply because the Buddha said so, or that so and so High Lama said so, or anybody else. And that here what is imperative is that we apply reasoning to what we hear, to what we read, what we assimilate. We apply as many different reasons as we can come up with to really analyze and check the information. That there is no gain at all in this tradition for advancing through blind faith. Here we must even go beyond simply what we hear and what we read, but to go deeper into the mind, to really apply reasoning, to check out, to see for oneself the validity of the path being presented. And so this is said to be, leading to what we can justly describe as a meaningful life, as opposed to the vast majority of people that lead quite meaningless lives, even though they live a long time. There is so much of that life wasted. And so it's here very, very important that we understand that to lead that meaningful life, we have to gain a conviction through our own analysis as to how best to proceed.
다른 이제 산제 좀 된 게 아니 저거 다 논의동 앞저 두개 보내봐 산제 좀 된 게 콩게 제발 때봐 이내야 콩 대가 자가게 아니 개비셀 통 아니 대가 개보서 단다게 개보다고 말해 때 누바치고 옹치고 가리 나와 있나 데라 수강게 아니 딕모도 랍투고 말이다 된대그 누바치고 이어 되게 아니 다 대가게 아니 저기 배줘라서 tonge다 고샵다 다 차상 열봐 아니 저기 다간에 생겨 지금 가서다 지금 대형기 차장 차상 유에 되겠지 대형기다 지금 가서 주말라서 뭐 딱하네 대배 연대 가리네 상대가 차상 되겠지 된대 상 대조티 아니 지금 가서다 제가 님부 매바 통째네 아니 땡기 되기 주베기 아니 다지 뭐여기 내수 똑바로 제쳐도 아니 지금 아니 가서다 다가다 침내 침해봐 랍도 주네 아니 지금 로조 카와라서 받제네 다 되게 나다 되돌 탕담해봐 말와 야 탕담해나 내줄로 가라 좀좀 먹고 살았다네 안 다 된대 지체네 다 어때 패드 된대 통계 차상 유교 저기 아니 배디가 차상 려다네 제가 문에 전에 동네 님부 매마지 쓰네 이 동네 그라시 뭐 쓰네 패줘도 제가 돈아 제거 저래도 가리잖아 제샤데 돈아 제바이나 아니 뭐 윤에서 또 통해도 봐 배교부 교장 가야 매개지 이제 친셔봐 말아 배통 이게 차상이야 되겠지
So it's worthwhile really looking at the situation that the founder of this tradition, Buddha Shakyamuni, was in 2,600 years ago. You may be familiar with the story of the Buddha born into royalty. He was a prince, and and indeed from a very powerful kingdom. Not like even today's, royalty, but somebody who wielded actual real power that could, whatever was required immediately, that was provided. And so, absolutely, in terms of all the wealth that was necessary, all of the conducive conditions for living the perfect life, for living the good life, all of the modern facilities of the time were right there for this Prince Siddhartha, and that wanted for nothing, absolutely wanted for nothing, but was determined, kind of like to work for what he referred to as something a more definite happiness. He wasn't satisfied with the situation that he was in. And having observed through trips outside of the royal compound into the town, seeing somebody who was old, somebody who was sick, somebody who was dead. These were kind of almost new experiences. Understood that life was in many ways essenceless if one did not find definite happiness, and so he left all of that behind in search of this definite happiness. And of course, if in many ways somebody might see that somebody maybe he wasn't right in the head to leave all of that wealth and comfort and to head off and lead a tough life to find the actuality of life, the meaning of life. But no, the Buddha didn't simply do this on a whim, but rather had examined in his own mind the reality of the situation and could see through many, many reasonings that this was something that he had to do, and that this is the focus and motivation behind his leaving everything behind and renouncing the kingdom and so on.
Pena dana nga zu bwe gya yo kanju budi gya shi ja de gya yong de do kanju ya wo de ta nya ba ting ne nya ta ji du je kham min da wa yin ba de ngo de che do ta de yong de do sa je song ta ye ba yong de do wo de.
And so from this really, how do you say, impulse to examine reality, to find out what was the actuality of life that drove the Buddha out of the kingdom onto the road to examine. So, and to gain a conviction in the process itself. We all know the story, have led him to the state of enlightenment, of reaching the state of Buddhahood, and all of what followed thereafter, leading to, as we have in the Tibetan tradition, the whole body of all of the actual words of the Buddha, now filling 108 volumes in what's known as the Kangyur collection of texts, and so so this is the tradition that has risen up outside, beyond, from that the curiosity of mind to find the real meaning of life by the Buddha.
시дэг 심볼 소리지 다 소리지 안 다네 신게 지가 변을 찾아봐라 제 최케 말린 게 전에 가든 나로라 상게 꾸샤에 가보지기도 와
And so, this is 2,600 some years since the Buddha was actually here in this world. And yet, even the very mention of the Buddha's name, it evokes a sense of peace and calm in so many people that may not have any connection with Buddhism. And that we all notice the great popularity of many people, and indeed, who have no connection with Buddhism whatsoever, who like to have a statue of the Buddha in the garden somewhere. That's something that makes them feel good, that makes the whole atmosphere more peaceful.
다 원데네 저 다간제 람림 시긴데 람림스의 용고에 좀세 소와데 다가자데 땡기 디지 주베쳐도 아니 다 냠슬란다 그래 산제 소 타이바 냠슬란다 그래 랑가도 서와다 용다데 셔고다 되게 또 되지 못 듣는데 책 못들죠.
And so that's just to conclude, and the brief explanation that this text that we're doing, known as the Graduated Path, one of the Graduated Path series of texts or teachings, and that indeed it is a summation itself of all of the teachings of the Buddha, and that just like all of the teachings of the Buddha, the Lamrim also is completely dedicated to the cultivation of definite happiness. And so then, as we normally begin this kind of teaching, we start with the visualization. So in the space in front of us, in the center, we have visualized the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha.
Set up what it is, right? Set up what I can do because of culture because of the yes and Yam Shagit and the Tusako who's a Namtike, a culture woman just so. And but the digital what it is doing the setup, what it is.
And that the Buddha is sitting in the Vajra posture. He is dressed in the saffron robes of a monk, and he is seated in the meditative equipoise mudra, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar in his hand.
남주 검자도이나 아니 류나나가 최된데서 왔다데 간테 투도 되네 야보데 그때 다 수고 내다도 데모 투마도 요와이네 아니 메바답도 왔다데 스테리 요 삼사자 가스디 야 류기 좀마다 이제 개와요 무요 왔다데
So it is said that when we ourselves sit in meditation, it is extremely good to try to adopt the same posture as the Buddha, as described here in the full Vajra posture, and with those mudras and so on, the hand positions, and that even if we can't, if we're too stiff or we don't have that sense of flexibility, to visualize that we are actually sitting in that position. And this is supposed to be very good for purifying certain stains of the physical body, the physical aggregate.
아니 되나 땡초소 아니 왜세 되는 또 마셔야 되는데 두간에 땡초소 왜세 초월라 되네 아니 제 가서도 다가제 저 도지 차네 제가 냠내 질러 주면 라마 되게 됐다 문에 걸어대 코소 섭섭 같은 삼다.
And so now various streams of light emanate from the heart center of that central figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, and one which goes directly above and establishes what is called the lineage of the consecrated practices, which is headed by Vajradhara.
Then ye choso wese chobala then ane jawa jambala ane papa tometa ane lobe inila sobe ane kasode ta dege kasode jaje juju ga lama dege ko ni yo so ane dege yen chola ane jeje jambe yang la ane je kobulu do da ane aya dewa da 아니 지가서다 다 간제 다와다발라 소베 다 다와산지 장라 소베 아니 가서데 사무다 주기 아니 다 라만은 조건이 요 삼사쳐 거들자.
And then one of the streams of light going on the right hand side and it establishes the lineage of the extensive practices. This is headed by Lord Maitreya. And within that lineage, we see, recognize some of the main figures of that lineage, such as Arya Sangha, Vasubandhu, and so on. And that then on the left-hand side, a stream of light will establish the lineage of the profound view. This is headed by Lord Manjushri and includes such luminaries as Arya Nagarjuna, Arya Deva, Buddha Palita, Chandakirti, etc.
아니 디 샴데라 아니 제가소데 아니 제 가담게 가담 람리바 shum바바 맹아바게 아니 주바티게 디요 삼사차
And then the below on both sides below these lineages we find the duplicated representations of the three Kadampa schools, being the textual school, the instructional school, and the graduated path school associated with the Kadampa lineage.
아니 디 샴데라 아니 장고라마 종가바 첨불다 계사 키둘라 소베 아니 가서다 지가소데 가서다 가자 이렇게인데 베게 아니 가서다 라마티케 코니요 삼사차 기부타마티케 코니요 삼사차.
And then below them, again on both sides, we have the representatives of the Geluk Lama lineage. Again, in the center here, the figure of Lama Tsongkhapa, Je Rinpoche. And then we see also his heart disciples of Kejupje, Gyaltsabje, and so on, and all of the lineage lamas of the Geluk tradition.
아니 되네 또바투에 온비게 아니 두인들라 아니 랑게 가서다 진짜자 라마 라 아니 최도 모도게 아니 라마티게 코니요 삼사차. And so then in the at the foot of the throne on which the main figure of Shakyamuni Buddha is seated, we see a grouping of our own gurus. In the center, our own root guru, and then all those from whom we have received teachings are surrounding that guru. 샴데 벤다들라 아니 가서데 다가제제 아니 가서데 라메게 규데 다 배상아 두바다 아니 가서데 단도 도지 직제다 아니 데네 가서데 헤루가다 다가네 신기다다데 아니 가서데 갈자카라 다티게 라메게 규데 아니 데네 가서데 라메제 아니 내조규제 아니 조규제 자규게 되게 아니 디샴들 계산산제 동 아니 디샴들라 아니 가서데 다가제 뉴에스젠젤라 아니 자세 파바나 코티게자 디샴들라다 라게 자좀 바티게라 도어들자 코티게자 안데 니에되자 바오 칸도 추종 송바자 다가 지금 소액의 신 마상하면 봐서 대되는데 세다 어디서 요 삼사자 무슨 뭐 하요 삼사자.
And so, again, filling out the what is now what we're calling the merit field. Then below the grouping of our own gurus, we see partly surrounding them and partly establishing their own line. There are the meditational deities of the highest yoga tantric grouping or classification, the Anuttara Yoga lamas, or the deities, including Guhya Samaja, Yamantaka, Chakra Sambhara, Heruka Kalachakra, and all of the other deities there. And then next to them or below them, slightly below them, we have the different other classes of Tantra, the Yoga, the Charya, and the Kriya representatives of the Tantras. And below them again, then all of the Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 35 Buddhas, etc. And then below them, the Arya Bodhisattvas, the Arya beings and the Arya Bodhisattvas, then the Arhats themselves, then from the Arhats, the Dakas, the Dakinis, and then below them again, the Dharma protectors, and so on. so that we have all of the members of the merit field included and extant. And so that we try to visualize as best we can all the members of the merit field as described without exception, and knowing, of course, that it is very difficult to do this. But if we even have the thought that, even though I can't visualize, that they are actually all present, that is very, very good. And so we do the best we can, and then we see that each member of the merit field is marked with the 3 syllables, at the crown, a at the throat, and hung at the heart. And then light rays emanate from all simultaneously from that hung at the heart and head out, inviting all of the wisdom beings. And all of the wisdom beings come and dissolve into all of the figures of the merit field. And so this is the setup for our now about to enter into a meditation on the graduated path. And it's so important to establish that for ourselves, that, as much as we possibly can, that we know all of these enlightened beings are there in the merit field. They're witnessing my attempts at meditation and practice now, and that it's very, very good to understand as well that in the context of the practices of purification of negativities, the practices of the accumulation of positive merit, that the merit field is peerless in that regard, in being able to facilitate those practices, and we knowing that progress on the path is very difficult without being able to purify the obstacles and the negativities to that progress, and to establish the fuel of the positive energy and positive merit that allows for that progress. And so it's very, very important that we have a sort of an overall sense of the great blessing that is available to us in the form of this merit field. And so the way in which then we can involve the merit field in all of what we subsequently do or meditate on is now described. So, for example, we are meditating on or going for refuge and generating the mind of enlightenment, whether we are meditating on the 4 immeasurables and so on. So all of what we are engaged in is in with the reality of this field of merit out in front and above us, and that in connecting with that merit field and the blessing of that merit field, we employ the descending nectar light meditation coming from the merit field and filling us, that we may be able to attain the realizations of what we are contemplating, what we are discussing, such as the realizations of refuge, of merit, the mind of enlightenment, of all of the different four immeasurables and so on. And so this is our invoking the merit field for this help.
다가 내시가 다 랑고 모수 샴베 아니 지금 초바 근데는 초바 모수 샴 장마전 출상 안 다가 내시가 랑고 두섬도 사베 계사 랑다 심제 탐제고 두서 계사 되죠 아니 배 다서도 타예베 아니 초바를追네 아니 초바를 다가제 미 아니 미 가서다 미땡 다가도 되베 땡게 다가제 제 아니 상보카리나 대다를 다가내시 되베 하이데 다가내시 수가벨 하이데라 소바 다가제 상구트네 아니 야피에 피 로아다가제 쳐바 피에 다가내시 그 가서다 다가제 야라드바 찬자와다 다지게 딜레 가서데 가서 고송구베코네 차체베 쳐바 피에 아니 랑게 세딜라 사베 소저 젠티베게 아니 디바 가르카제반 테소 샤통치에 아니 다가자 맞아 딩가마 토마 매번 사베 디바데 그때 샤통치에 샤통치에 아니 랑게 개와 생게 개와라서 뭐 제수 일하지야 야 오다 아니 전에 냥갈에 밑에 소와데 아니 저거 구예라 소와다 그냥 야라도 뭐 면제다 제가 야 피네 다 삼이야 일단은 피네 다가 저거 신 제단제 아니 야라도 뭐 면제다 제가 피네 다 소사 제단제 어떤지
And what is the traditional then the practices to go through in the company of the merit field are the offering of the seven-limbed prayer or seven-limbed practices and the mandala offering, so that we pay homage, doing offering our prostrations. We are making offerings of not only the materials that we can have ourselves, but all of those countless and limitless materials that we can imagine. Not just the best of everything in the human world, but also the best of everything in the desire realm, the celestial worlds, in the formless realms, in the form realms. All of what is the very best of everything, we make an offering there. And then we continue with the purification of our negativities, knowing that these are great obstacles to progress on the path. So again, in front of the merit field, we make our heartfelt confessions and purification of our negativities. And then we also can rejoice in our own virtue and in the virtues of all others, and all of the bodhisattvas and all of the Buddhas as well, and then make our supplications for the Buddhas to not to leave, to stay and teach, and then make our dedication at the end of the 7 limbs. And then make the mandala offering. So all of this is in the context of the visualization of the merit field and how we make use of the merit field.
What did the chuba piwa tila tene, ani deda tujula dewa chung, dewa tongba ke, dewa nisuma ishi kesu samsa, wata yana yabu samla tala. Ani soso nyamle kante cheba ina, nyamle cheba te, ani tati konazu tu yebu yungurwa. Konsu ngonsu ke, ani pe tenki tiki chungna, kongba tu tendu yoro ta. Tendu tiki chungna samsa ta, pemba tanga yore, ani konazu choa sa, 지바 장에 산제 고마 두비에데 나라도 쳐도 제바 인자 아니 나라도게 또 쳐다 또 나와 또 제도가 이나야 코란줄라 빼 툴라다 기부시 정부라 또 쪼고 용으로 와 자리 자다 말이야 이나야 나라도 쪼고 용하지 뭐좀 못 줘봤지 오다 공부 코나 내 뒤잡아도 코나도 투규라 아니 대화 총수 삼사자 코나도 투규를 거두이네 대화 총동을 돼 이나야 소소 당내 뒤잡아도 대화 총수 삼사자마이나 소소로 패 빠두면 사고 아니 대화 총수 삼사 아니 대화 뒤에 동반이야 동배 대화냐 대도 니스마 이시 계속 삼사자 남시나 소수규라 된데지 계토에 주죽도 그러와 아무도 주죽도 요와 인자 뭐 같으네 데 삼다 하지 어디서
And so then it's extremely important that going through the mechanics, really, I suppose, of doing all of these different practices associated with the 7 limbs, or prostrations, our offerings, our confession and purification, etc. All of the in context of the accumulation of merit on the one hand, and the essential practice of the purification of negativities on the other. Now, at the conclusion of any such practice, we recognize that that the merit field is incredibly pleased with our conscientious and genuine efforts at practice. That this produces in us a sense of a bliss in the mind, and this bliss invokes an empty into emptiness, and that we try to generate this wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness in the mind, and try to stay with that as much as we possibly can. And so this is in the context of again reminding ourselves that whatever practice I'm engaging in is in order to attain definite happiness. And so it's very important for us to get sense of this, or some sort of taste of this happiness, and to recognize it for ourselves, that all of what we go through in practice is for the goal of attaining a definite happiness. And so it's very important that if we can get even if we don't feel it, but we have the sort of aspiration or the imagination of feeling that sense of bliss, that bliss invoking emptiness, and that abiding just in that mind of the non-dual combination of bliss and emptiness. And then to understand too that if we supplement or augment any practice with that conclusion, that it is tremendously beneficial, a very, very beneficial, kind of auspicious, beneficial thing to do.
다들 먼저 나도 말하줄라 대외 동배 대화에서도 다 식소리 저대마다 먼저 소화스케 민도와 가서 소화매고 가서 먼저 뒤 냠수 용두고 요마르와 냠수 용두고 요마 뒤 냠수 용토나다 나라서 거기 가서 디기선 다 초초메게 다디 용두고 매매 장 나라도 다 식삼라 쳐봐라 이나야 제 사무탄 어다들 매바 이제가 주도 다서 매바 이제가 주 에메징 서베 어다 진짜지 용화 소리 진짜 그저 또 테네 아니 남으시나 문에 거라 대통령 있으면 이식게 투에 요걸 받아 개투에 요거래 다 당번에다 당가르다 책잠사라 저 대통령 있으면 이식서 나라도 뭐쳐야 돼 대화 시고 뭐 쳐두고 요 말봐 나라도 코에 대화를 매도 시단 냠뉴 요마라 코에 대화 차사진 냠뉴 매봐 코에 대화 잡는 냠뉴 요마라 왔다 좋아 베르냐마 먼저 빈디콜 데베콜 사지 지기 세겐 존스자 타바탐나다 아니 보링 용사를 쓰기도 벤 용사를 타바탐 동해 요마를 봐서 아니 얘 라비 좀 보링 코라 동해다 타바토는 동해 요마레스 보링 요마레스 그래서 나라 속에 디기스도 나라 속 낭대 디기면도 요마를 와 좋아 나라도 디기 뭐지에 귤은 뭐지나 보링래 그래서 동해로 그래서 먼저 되면 뭐쳐 두고 요 말아 하이는 타바스게도 탑사베절라 아니 가서 땡에진 게딱 고마식 쳐보 요도 땡에질 때는 디게도 뺐다 가서다 배 시부지 딱 가자 지금 나라 쪽에 딱 저번에 빼요 말 딱 가자 나라 쪽 호알에 빼요 말 빼면서 뭐쳐 두고 요 말아 디가다 타발에 나가 대돈 있으면 이셔서 딜레디기 책을 봐 딜레디기 책을 이거 다들 나라 쪽으로다 책잠을 치네 이내야 다다 책잠도 요 말에 개치기 말에 이내 진짜 요 삼사 치네 직접 갈리 저 남녀들 줘야지 보고 충조 계제 시에 마신 거지 틱틱스 빠마빠빠마마 남 갈리 저 계제 먹고 시에 두고 자기도 왔다 디나 시전 틱틱스 갈리 저 줘야요
So, understandably, when we talk like this of developing this bliss, then invoking emptiness and abiding in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness and so on, it's not only impossible for us maybe to get a genuine feeling for that, but even the understanding of what it's referring to. And so it's very hard to get a feeling for what that is about. And this is simply because we haven't really had that experience. We have no direct experience of that. Therefore, it's going to be a strange thing to us. But it's worth reflecting on, and to have that sense of aspiration to really gain that experience, and to try as much as possible to invoke that through our own imagination, to try to get some type of little taste of what it's about, to get it beyond just the mere words that we are presented with. And that it's also understanding that, that all of the experience we have of happiness is simply the happiness of cyclic existence. As such, it's contaminated happiness, and it's extremely limited. If we really had any inkling of the genuine feeling for this bliss that is described, the bliss into emptiness, the emptiness back into bliss, if we had any experience of that at all, we would understand that the greatest happiness of cyclic existence is totally insignificant, as nothing at all, completely unworthy. And so it's to have that in our minds, is an aspiration in itself, to try to gain that experience. Very, very important. And that, I remember one time in Bendigo, doing question and answer, somebody brought up their own point, saying that I don't think nirvana is anything at all, because nothing ever.
Nirvana thamna boring yes.
Yeah, it's very boring in nirvana, because nothing ever happens.
Never suffering.
Never, no, there's no suffering. Yeah, there's no suffering there. Therefore, it's very boring. And again, I said, actually, you've contradicted yourself there, because being bored is suffering, isn't it? The very fact that you're bored is suffering. And so here, the idea of us trying to imagine a reality where one is in a state of bliss it's almost impossible, because we see no parallel for that in cyclic existence. We only have a cyclic existence, or the happiness of cyclic existence, to go on. And so here it's important to understand that when we develop these meditative concentrations that are described, and that gives us access to experiences that we will not have access to other than that, it opens up a whole new world of experience for us. And so, now it may simply be words only, mere speech to us, but with effort, slowly, we will get closer and closer and closer to that kind of experience. And it's, again, as describing it as like a newborn who cannot speak, that the first words are just ma, something like this. But before long, there's an avalanche of speech that develops. And so it's like that for us. We are like a little drip of experience for us now. But if we stick with it and develop these concentrations especially, we will open up a whole avenue of blissful experience. And so that, so therefore, it's really down to habituation, the meditation of familiarization, again and again and again and again and again with the meditations that are outlined and that especially that meditation on emptiness, that if we gain any kind of an experience.
Emptiness, emptiness, emptiness,
and so it's like this singular mind of emptiness that then evokes or induces bliss, and the bliss that correspondingly evokes invokes emptiness. The recognition of emptiness, and that here it's kind of like when we experience that for ourselves, we really know that we have arrived. We really have arrived at something significant. And so for now we're really operating at the level of our own imagination, of being able to arise ourselves from emptiness as the deity, the meditational deity of all of our surroundings, being those of arising from emptiness as the abode of the enlightened one, and the obstacles or objects of use that we have are those of an enlightened being, etc. And that here it's just a case of really operating at the point of imagining now. But it's a case of slowly we habituate more and more and more and more and more, and really try to really own the kind of like the practice itself within ourselves, and then one day we will be able to really feel it for real.
That is 동반이게 돈야고 삼로당 돈다야고 셰섬당에 다간에 생게 랑젠징게 교연다 현전제게 연전 톤에 아니 현전제 개답졌다 제제 아니 동배 되는데 야고 삼로당에 어떤데 저도 아니 다른 거저 지금 탐에게 내다 도되게 건가 동바장네 동바 디잉알래 아니 다가제 지금 가서됐다 양다바 차투예지 동바 디잉알래 양다바 차투예지 오다 내다도 오다가 내생게 동바 된데 이마 인상 아니 심지어 탐제가도 산제 고마 두게 용투사래 가서 유대는 두바 매마저 그 용에 돼 아니 유다 깨라 때는 두고 여바인사 유게 좀나고 두두고 여바지 다 유대는 두나 탑시 코나 요마가 유대는 마두베게 좀제 딜 때네 다 유에데 아니 바 때는 주에만 조사 매바인사 아니 그유다 산제 고마토베 왔다 규데데데데데데도 데데 예자 포두에 용투고도 산에 아니 딜라데 데데 녀바녀바 데네 아니 장주가 선지 깨바 있네 뿌다 보게 두고라다 뿌다 보지.
And so I recommend the meditation on emptiness is very important to understand the meaning behind what is referred to as emptiness. This is very, very important. As well as that, looking at the debilitating effects of self-cherishing and the freedom that is in cherishing others, and really contrasting those two very, very importantly. That's through gaining a further, more subtle understanding of the meaning of emptiness, one also gains an understanding of how it kind of quintessential it is in the way anything functions. It's because of emptiness, all of everything is possible. This is very important, and therefore that we understand that if we establish particular causes and conditions, that these will lead to specific results, and so therefore we can really direct our lives much more wisely in that sense, and so that makes for any kind of eventuality is possible if we establish the correct causes and conditions to bring that about. And so we understand that then this cause brings this cause, and this cause together will bring this kind of result, and that we can, for example, develop the attitude of mind that is so vast that it wants to attain enlightenment to benefit all sentient beings, the mind of enlightenment, or bodhicitta itself, on the basis of cause and conditions. And so, to know that everything is possible because things are empty is very, very important.
Empty situ ngazo get tongba ni seo de lamja tongba ni le seo de tene chunga ko tu me tene chunga se de tongba ni ko tu ge ko ta tene kaso ta di inza di ingo gre di inza di ingo gre se teme de trosa yo mare se jo ba ta tene che che to ta ya ko shi ba de emptiness se de ta ko ju che mo le la teme emptiness da 그게 매딩 때문에 기자 말아. emptiness 세원도 때내 중화르다 생지 거 두고자. 때내 중화르다서 유대내 좀 뒤삼 요마르다 생지 거 두고지. 다디 중화는 때는 emptiness 거저데 내가 치 말아다. 뭐 좀 치 말아.
And so this kind of like a combination of when we reflect on emptiness, it immediately brings to mind that all phenomena rise in dependence. And that because all phenomena arise in dependence, they are empty of having any independent existence or any objective existence. This is, so important that we make this like it becomes second nature to us. That because of this is possible. Because of that, this is possible. And there is no other third possibility. No other third reality. And that here we understand that because phenomena arise in dependence, the arise in dependence, it's impossible that they could have any objective existence out there, any independent existence out there, and that this is the reality of the situation.
What the rest of the time, and the Chetanical Nega Yomare, because Tombare said to Tenejuma Cotton, Chetal when Nega Yomare, Tenejuma is Laon, and it was you didn't do a Mare, so Tatal when Nega Yomare, Take Tani the Java Yimbayina. And that because of Javachi, that chocolate, Tajik Tani the Java in Yetuaina, and Sanjay combated Lentu Yorba, Sanjay combatatu the Lentu Yore. And it diggy, and it Tanze Maribe Nebutotu, Tanze Maribe Nebutotu, Yamana, Nona, and a Koyatsawa Netu, Koyatsawa Netuaina, and a quality came watch, so to Yorba, so to Yore.
So this is really at the very heart of the matter, that to be able to reflect in this way, to think on emptiness in this way, and especially to use this twin reasoning that because phenomena lack any are empty, they are arise independence. They are dependent arisings, and that this is the reasoning that can negate both extremes, and that the extreme of nihilism on the one hand, and the extreme of reification on the other. That we are able to maintain what's known as the middle way path, and that is the way to attain the state of enlightenment itself, and indeed the happiness, the definite happiness that is our goal. And so it's very important that we are understanding that that when we are applying the antidote of selflessness to self-grasping, and that we are operating at the level of not just uprooting the mistaken understanding of an inherently existent self, but that is also kind of cutting through the very root of cyclic existence altogether. And that is definitely the way to both definite happiness and the state of enlightenment itself.
What is it?
So I'm talking quite a lot, getting a lot done.
No, sure. And yeah, what did it? What did it? That swatching they said, and it's swatching together. That Yala to maintain that you are pre-pune, and then swatching together 2 doing it. Rather swatching together 2 doing it. That Jibaji, Netumangu, Tatika, the Shumoko, and Talamushu Savins. That then, so she did the Chilla Chicken, Minaya, Yadu, and Chilla Chicken, Yard, Emine, Rangi, Minaya, Shamni Yard to the Rangi Jazawa Lamalapati. Yayungi, Caso de Tanda days, Jangola Motonga, Chabicuba, the Chilla Chicken with Yard Jen, and the Caso de Jam Giant in a party. And Yamijina, you will Lama to the Chilla Chicken, and the Caso de and Jawdo Chal Party. What a Lamangala meter, what a compost, what did the check, what did the check. And together, Takaja, and Jawdo Chan there, and Ma teacher, and Dugi, and Lam to be on party. Jam Giant there, Lam to be on party. And Rangi Dijata Lama there, and Lama to be on Nikakoto, near some such or Tugakoto, near some such what did the check Takaja. That day, the Kazadata. Could you noble look significant? Sanja Tamjig Tanida to one a party, yeah, to one a party, Lama to one dorsal party. What did it check?
And so, back to the merit field. And so, having established the merit field, now we dissolve the merit field. And so this then starts from the bottom lines that we described, where we have the Dharma protectors and so on, and they all dissolve up into the lines above them until we are left just there at the base of the throne of the main figure with the figure of our own root guru. That's a single one that's left here in that area. And then on the left and the right, simultaneously, the groupings of the Kadampa lineage schools and the Geluk schools, and indeed all of the gurus related to the extensive practices and profound view lineages, all dissolve upwards as well until we are left with the figures of Maitreya on the one side and Manjushri on the other. And then above, we have all of the lamas of the consecrated practices lineage dissolving upwards until they reach the top figure of Vajradhara. And so then briefly we focus on now 5 remaining figures, with the main figure in the center, our own root guru just below, on the left and right, Lord Maitreya, Lord Manjushri, and Vajradhara above. And then Vajradhara comes down and dissolves into the crown of the main figure. And then the figures on the left and right, Manjushri and Maitreya, simultaneously come in and dissolve into the central figure. And then finally, our own root guru comes up to the heart center level of the main figure and dissolves into the heart of the central figure. And so now this figure is known as Guru Maninja Vajradhara.
What did the Takaja because of the Lamatuan Tocha, and they took a Kazatakaja, that's Chamalo Santawa, and they took a Takaja, taking the swimming, which what it is commercial, what it is commercial, that is Sanja Tamjik Tani 10, what it is a Tami, but what did the Gushitani Lamala Tuanto Chalaso, the Chukuta Lama Tuanto Chalaso, the Chulukuta Tuanto, and Tajuku the Lamala Tuanto Chalaso, Kinduku the Lama Tuanto Chalaso, and Kaduku the Lamala Tuanto Chalaso, the Takaja, Chujuku the Lama Tuanto Chalaso, Janaku the Lama Tuanto Chalaso, what the so Putus of the video, what the Sunday check, what the
And so then this last remaining figure of Guru Maninja Vajradhara is, we know, is the embodiment of all enlightened beings. And we make our prayer of the stake-like prayer from the miraculous book of the Gelugpas at this point. My most divine Guru, Lord of the 4 Kayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My most divine Guru, Lord of unimpeded Dharmakaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, Lord of blissful Sambhoga Kaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, Lord of sundry Niyamanakayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Gurus, embodiment of all deities, embodiment of all Buddhas, embodiment of all Dharma, embodiment of all Sangha, embodiment of all dhakas, embodiment of all dharmapalas, my most divine Guru, embodiment of all refuge, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara.
我的是说不出是，我本身这个。我这是这单老人这个com对这是没不懂的呀，或者对嘛就那错钱的上了当一点是都把的这我这这个我这上了当的错事全部啥呀，乱里在干吧，乱里可能永远可能嘛，但这上了当的，我这这边但这个让人错啥就这样也不接，这个没这点端的他不接，And
so, and this is a powerful practice in its own right. This visualization of the merit field and the coming of the wisdom beings, the dissolution of the merit field, etc. All of like this is a very powerful meditation, very beneficial thing to do. Not only for the degeneration of great merit and the purification of negativity, but also in doing so, we're never going to be lonely. We couldn't possibly be lonely in a situation like this.
다 베레 자주나라 심지 타예 봐줘라. 되게 그간에 베다 ninja 되게 대외 대화대 대외 밑에 동네 토도 봐대요다. 니마르레나 다 집바 빠도 매봐. 출로는 미 집바 요요래 소그니까 요 낭패들 집바요 다 그도 빠도 매봐. 아니가 되지 밥자잖아. 안티가 레니 바디가 마차쳐 삽삽체. 안티가 제수 선자고 내가 공부시에도나 자주처럼 참자 주마도 고쳐 봐자오라. 다들 데뷔 바로 가시 잡용다 숨 쳐봐. 찍잖아. 시부 쌤잖아. 개와 잡아다 대개면 내가 요래.
Can?
근데 대쌤 차소나. 개와 잡아들라. 뒤 나라. 자주 나라 개 내가 된대요. 요래. 나 참자 나와 기부 제 아니 밑바닥도 좀 안티가 뒤에서 밥자자 타요 막 있으면 삼시야 캐바도 디나를 기베 쓰면 다 차게 되고 요마 안티가 밑바닥 뒤에서 밥자도 지기나 그래서 이제 이제 대고 말해 밑바닥 이제 대다 지기로 와야 이제 제가 밑 셔바도 캐다도 통식으로 와 쌤네 딱봐 밑바닥 검 이제 스탠티야 야보도 와 최저래 주고 와 쌤제대로 소소 대화 책을 마음 봐 편도 제도다. 내가 쉽지래. 소소의 대화 약보면 소소 파마인의 배고도 빈자인의 배고도 추고 편도 제도고도 소소 대화 여바이나 파마 빈자 인고고도 추고 돈의 편도 제도고다. 가서 뒷개왕아마 대화 지어로 봐. 규매바 요 말이야. 유지요래. 소소 파마 빈자 빼 대화 여보 여바이나 양거 소소 최도 시버 될 편도 제도고도 가서 그 추고 대화 샤마도로 와. 데려와. 다 추고 대화 샤도가 파마 빈자 인고 뭐도 뭐 신고 뭐도 간섭선에 거 추고 편도 제도가 주고도 와. 가서 개왕아마 유치요. 유매는 제고요 말이야. 그래서 다 되네지네. 근데 자주나 쓰면 타이바 되고 소소 대화 샤도고도 잡아도 닝제 거면. 안 뒤지 밥장 되지 전 된다가 요래. 다다 통해 그 요마데 로 봄차 하세 청마이나 제부 통거로 와.
So, I know that in the West, people really enjoy walking, and especially like walking along the seaside and visiting the ocean and so on. And so, I think this is a wonderful practice to try and do at the ocean, where we simply can rest and look out onto the ocean, beautiful open expanse, and visualize the Buddha up there in the sky, and surrounded by all the figures of the merit field as best we can, and then to really try to sustain our focus there, and to use the descending nectar light meditations of taking in all of the beings in the ocean, around the ocean, in the ocean, and and developing, meditating on love and compassion, and using the descending nectar light in the process of the purification of our own negativities and the accumulation of positive merit, And this is a wonderful way to spend a little trip to the ocean, quite differently to what we normally do, of just going for sightseeing or something like that. And that, in that sense, not really very meaningful. And in fact, if we're not careful, we may be creating some sort of conditions on such a meaningless trip for ending up in the ocean in our next life, because we're making that connection, rather than really making this Dharma connection through visualizing the merit field and through really bringing our awareness to bear on all of the sentient beings, the hundreds of thousands of sentient beings that are there in front of us, or in the ocean, in the sky, and so on, and and including when we're trying to generate love and compassion, including bringing love to all of them, of eradicating all of their sufferings, with the assistance of the merit field in the descending nectar light meditations. And so it is very important. A very important point to make here too is that we want to bring benefit to as many sentient beings as possible. But prior to being able to benefit them, we must make that connection with them. And this is a very skillful way of doing it. For many of us, it's difficult for us to get beyond benefiting our own relatives and parents and so on, that because we don't have that connection with a big circle beyond them. And that this is very limiting then on how we can actually make that connection, make that benefit. And so for us, when we are developed at the ocean using the merit field technique of developing loving kindness and compassion, we can be aware of, like I say, hundreds of thousands of sentient beings there. Even if we don't see them, we are not just benefiting them now, but we're also creating the connection that in future, when we are more highly evolved spiritually, to be able to benefit them directly in the future as well. So that's an important consideration.
그래서 먼저 또 카도 배도 잡아도 배도 제투에게 제와샤이드 개점버도 와. 먼저 단다 심제 탐색도 산제 고마 심제 탐색도 된 룹스인데 아니 프로젝트 배 개발에 개발 계좌와 심제 탐색 사 마게가 봐도 계좌와. 그래서 프로젝트 배 야점버래. 그래서 제와샤투에 시고 개점버래. 뭐 제와샤 아니 그런데 제와샤 잡아든 이제 좀 제와샤 진짜 안 뒤도 랑게 똑바지에 팽게도 랑게 똑바지에 뒤 팽어 어디 뒤도 소소 제와지 차온 그래. 마음발 때라 팽도 렐라부터네. 알아서 냠뇨도 알아서 최도 신거 열에 아니 소소 배 직부 요게도 최도 팽도 제토나도 이내 탑시시라면도 가레스나 되게 최고 제와쇼에게 랑가 소토요 말봐. 다 뒤로 봐. 내가 뒤 차도 봐. 난 가셔서 빈빈자 말은 무엇인가 요만 제라면 무엇이바잖아 추가 배도 약간 제도도 와. 그 가르쳐서는 야마빠 제가 소토요 와. 그 것들 남자 가서 렌데서 유다 제비 조다 뒤로다. 근데 유다 제비 조다 시고도 와. 대체도 오호 개왕가마 요사대 섬서 들었다 학고도에 누가 학고도 띵 섭사나 섬로다나 망고 학고도에 누가 다다가 소소나 섬 sensory level some togi in any the that she was your one. What did it all things soft some tana? Lemon buragado. Neta mangujo more chogo. Oh, then Sanjay soon tear the marcha, run a missile what to a Pemabuyo Budwa. Pemabuyo Budwa.
And so that, for those that we can directly benefit, we should, if we can, definitely benefit them. But we also, need to understand that we need to make connection somehow with as many sentient beings as we possibly can. And this project of wishing to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings is a project that is a very long project. It would go for eons to attain that state. And so it's so important that we find ways of making as meaningful a connection with as many sentient beings as possible. This is extremely important. And that, what we want to gain realization for is only for to be able to be more effective in our benefiting other sentient beings. But in order to be able to effectively benefit them, we must first of all create this connection with sentient beings. And so therefore it's kind of like, not to say that we are really limited in what we we can do now, that I say, oh, I have a good motivation, I really want to help, but I don't have that many friends, or I don't have a connection with other people. That is not the case. That we can make this connection in our own minds. We don't necessarily have to see these sentient beings, but we make that essential connection now, and so that we can be of more direct benefit to far more in the future. And that here, we know people in the world now who have great benefit, bringing great benefit to so many sentient beings, and they don't know all of these sentient beings. But the fact that they can be effectively beneficial towards them means that they have created that connection in the past. And so this is nothing more than a cause and effect situation. If we create the causes now and making connection with sentient beings, we will be able to enjoy the effect of being directly able to benefit them more effectively in the future. And so this is very, very important. If we reflect on it, it's not just that the Buddha's teachings are, so limited to our specific practice time, for example, but that we can apply, and we need to actually learn to apply the Buddha's teachings in every possible situation in our life, to integrate them into every aspect of our lives. This is extremely important. Otherwise, we are really become a slave just to our sensory interpretation of where we are, at the beach or in the forest or wherever. It just becomes a limited, very mundane sensory experience. And so this is to elevate our experience and to make it a lot more beneficial at the time, and potentially beneficial for the future when we are able to directly benefit all those sentient beings we make connection with.
야 데레 제베갈 참자 소소 잠바데 인제 거 데레 데발 야 데발 냐승된 자와 된다다 인제 통데 야또 콘트로사에 내가 제 여봐 야 대삼도 오 되게 대 인제 몸바 마리베 온게 대 대화 저거 대 대회 유튜브 시 밑에가 동네 주빵 마시 받잖아 인제 유튜브도 삼자 인제 코미디 계속 물어봐 야 삼자 잡아데 인제 코미디 나라돌라 잡아데 인제 되게 될 건가 가서 튕게 삐다고 싶어 요 말와 야 초아지네 잡아 이제 그 초아지를 콘도사에 내가 요로 야 저기 이제 몽배 온 것들 다 렌냐 바사고도 서 이제 코미디 개쳐 버렸다 이제 코미디 개쳐 버려 가서 다들 냐티게라 동네 녀한테 냐마 텐데 제발을 때네 동네 녀한테 요라 다 되네 이제 요 다들 샴바디고 tumte 요와 안 되줄래 봐 이제 거 남도 근데 맞아 야 좀더 찍는 이제 거봐 찍는 콘도사에 내가 요로
Again, I'm saying yes, we need to be, highly mindful in situations like this that's described. For example, at the ocean, you might well come across somebody fishing and catching a fish and so on. And so that, the proper attitude would be to have compassion, loving compassion for both beings in that situation, and understanding that the fisherman is creating negative karma through killing a fish in this sense, and so they will experience, according to the law of cause and effect, suffering a result in the future. And so compassion is the appropriate response from our mind for them, but also for the fish who created the suffering to be caught and killed in this instance, and that so this understanding of their suffering as well. Whereas, when we're not thinking that much, and we may have an aversion arising, and that we have a pity for the fish and anger towards the fisher, the one who is catching the fish, and so we have to watch that our attitude isn't limited in that sense, but is completely imbued with loving compassion that understands the karma of what's going on.
nyama pindical table kabla the meet the drawing and the pinol get and go and the concept oh meet the pen yasim chaber nyam bosim to quality take it and some as a mother church what is that you kaya mara jumzeshig yomar one inch the some mother jumbo ko nyashra simto그러 먼저 냐마 비할 망부터 냐망부스 ko 냐망부 simto그러 인데 코나 조고도 연대 주고도 오다
He's recalling one time in Bendigo, he was invited to say a few words at a funeral, and of course the people giving eulogy at the funeral were recalling the dead person's great skill at catching fish. He loved catching fish. He caught so many fish. He was a wonderful fisherman, and made Genna feel very uneasy for him at the time. This is not. They were looking at it as a good quality, you know. He was a great beer drinker, you know. Seeing it as a good quality of the deceased, whereas from the Buddhist point of view, it's rather unfortunate that person caught so many fish or was so skilled as a fisherman and so on. And so for a person like that, it's all in all likelihood, and they will be born as a fish and maybe suffer being caught as a fish. Sad for the mourners. They are celebrating this as a quality. That they were such a good fisherman and seeing it as a good thing, but no fault. They don't know the reality of the situation. And so they, as well as the deceased in that instance, the mourners there would be simply for us an object of compassion. So there are several reasons why one falls into fault according to the texts, and this is one simply not knowing that there's certain ignorance involved in making error, and that the second another one would be that we have a lack of conscientiousness. We're simply not careful. We know right and wrong, but we're simply lack of conscientiousness. And the third one of another one is where the mental affliction is very intense and very strong. That tends to push us into making negativities as well. So this is why study is regarded as extremely essential and very important, that we can isolate the causes that bring about suffering and eradicate those causes, and that we can establish the causes that bring about happiness and go about accruing those causes. And so now we have visualized the last remaining figure of the merit field, Guru Maninja Vajradhara, and on our own crown we establish a kind 동행의 랑신이 봐도 못처네 아니 동행의 랑신이 봐도다 랑신이 봐도现在다这年不准你就跨了年不准年中之삼다 근데 년중을落地 아니 랑게 지워라 가서도 뼈마지로 줄수 삼삼제 뼈마지로 줄수 삼삼제 And so we reflect now on the very nature of suffering, that is cyclic existence, and that the attitude that we must initially generate is a mind known as kind of renunciation, of developing a sense of definite emergence from that nature of suffering, from cyclic existence. This is an essential kind of step for us to do that. And from that thinking of reflecting on renunciation, a lotus seat, a lotus is established on our own crown.
친하게 쭉 간대지만은 타바다 타는 랑다 시 수인바 이나야 아니 유대는 주바지 뒤섬 요 말에서는 아니 간대지바 이나 다가자지 때내 중앙만 똑배 파 샤섬면도 유대는 주바지 랑자 와지다 다 사원이네 요 말에 삼삼이 와들이 좀 못쳐봤잖아 동반이 또 삼로다네 되네 동반이 삼로다면 로다가라 님의 긴거지 줄수 삼삼제
And then we reflect on, the fact of all phenomena, whether outer or inner, all objects, all phenomena, completely empty of having any objective or inherent existence, and that they are merely imputed by thought. And from this reflection on emptiness, from that very mind of emptiness itself, emerges on top of the lotus a sun disk on our crown.
어디에 삼로다 야면나 다 지금 심지 탐제도 산제도 뭐 두긴 세가 나디 가봐도 세 쉔네 아니 많이 봤다가라 삼로디 많이 봤다 유된 주변 동봤다가라 많이 봤디 각자 각삼디 아니 근데 로디 근데 이게 로디 아니 님의 김과처럼 줄수 서와 되지 삼삼
Or another way of looking is saying that this self, or that, when I say I want to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, that I, that self, we search for that within our body-mind continuum. And it's reaching the point of merely not finding that self, that we pause and use our focused meditation just on that point of that lack of finding of the object of negation, and from that then arises the sun disk mandala on our crown.
다 유대는 마주바 임바 인상 다고 규견을 때는 연구부래 다 규견을 때는 연구도 다 심지 탐제거도 다 ran dewa to bari shen dewa to go yore tene imba ta ibe mage semje tam chege ane de jube ge ane ta chege jutige de du tene ta jutige de ge duk to ba chege yin samsa chen ta semje tam chege to sanje koma jube yin samsa lo chege samlo ta ro ra shin ni ge de ta chebe de sanje koma jube yin sa juba chege yin sa jube yin samsa lo chege de lo to ri de lo di 두비인 서로 다가란티 아니 다외긴 것을 줄수 삼삼다
Again, to contemplate this lack of any objective existence, implying, as we described before, that everything arises in the independence, leaves us then to understand that I can work for the benefit of all sentient beings, just that the happiness I seek, may it be the cause for all sentient beings to experience that happiness, and that I really dedicate myself now to fulfilling the purpose of all sentient beings, and that means to attain the state of enlightenment, from which the position I am in to really bring benefit to all sentient beings without exception. And indeed, this will fulfill not just the purpose of others, but the purpose of myself as well. And from this mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, arises the moon disk cushion that is also now placed on our crown.
다 두수의 산제 탐제가 다니디 초주의 산제 탐제가 다니다 젠자네 다 젠자네 아니 반대 자가 라마를 뭐지 다기 지워 빼면 되줄 가진 친구들 구조 투주 구조 자도서 순대 제발할 때다 랑이 타고다 진짜 막게 섬자 다음저 유어 삼삼제 어디자 다 젠장원도 아니 당비 값소 수주 아니 순대 니베 값소 슈 순배 값소 때도 쉬나 다 산제 고마 마토게 봐도 다 제수 송송 가고
And so now we again pause just to remind ourselves that we have the figure of Guru Maninja Vajradhara still there in front, and that we ourselves are surrounded by all mother sentient beings, and that in their presence and witnessed by them, I make the invitation now to Guru Maninja Vajradhara, the embodiment of all the Buddhas. I invite you to come to my crown now, using the invocation verse of "Oh, glorious and precious Guru, come take your lotus and moon this seat here at my crown, bestow on me the attainments of your, keep me safe in your kindness, and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind." And we recite this 3 times. After the first recitation, a replica body comes from the central figure and moves towards my crown. At the end of the second recitation, they have reached the seat and are sitting there. And at the end of the third recitation, we feel that they have reached this point of being steadfast in that position, and they will remain there to look after me until I attain the state of enlightenment itself. So this is an occasion of great rejoicing for us. This is something wonderful. Now, until I attain the state of enlightenment, I have Guru Maninja Vajradhara to really care for me. This is something really special, really worth rejoicing.
Like what I think. Like not enough, I think. Speaker said enough.
Then I was making a joke to say that the speaker over there is kind of making a noise saying, okay, the speaker is saying enough. That's it.
What did what I was shoot also Gaucom, what did the Chenta, what did the Chet. But do you know so the Chickaso, the Shoga, what the Swashing set up, and what did the Chenta to this come? And what there is some town of Pemsi Abudo, what did the Tamunajanta, Swashing to the company, and Yana to amend it to Javan Pigeon, what did the Chen, and that, and Labrin, that's some Taco Lamacom in the Chen. The Labrin question it to the Machenata, and Labrin to come and that the Tobaki to the time. Do the Babjan to check what is check in a dot, didn't want to do some of the didn't dash to somebody, and what are the legend, what is check, what if they go, and then Yala made the job, what is check.
And so that we'll leave it there for today, but I really highly recommend this kind of practice to try to engage in every morning to really generate the merit field in the space in front. To make offerings of the 7 limbs of practice and offer a mandala, and then to engage in our meditation on the graduated path with following those preliminaries. And very, very important, looking into all the subject matter of the graduated path, from how to rely on a spiritual teacher and to gain the kind of realizations that we want, knowing that we are employing the merit field here in the process of purifying the negativities and obscurations that block our path to those realizations, and generating the positive merit that will fuel our being able to gain those realizations. And so I really highly recommend this kind of practice in your daily on a daily basis.
Rangi the Takaja, Takaja, Yanjung, some Yanjung gave a lot, and Rangi the Pamata kitchen to some of my share, what did the check?
And then now to finish, we visualize at our own heart center here, establishing a similar. Oh, question. Sorry, question has arisen.
Quick question. Can you hear me, Noel?
Yeah.
You know, in this text, it's talking today about, and you're talking about meditating on the emptiness of self, not existing in body or mind. When we talk about mind in English, is that referring to the 4 other aggregates? So not aggregative form? I mean, I think it is, but I just wanted clarification.
So I think I'm trying to get the question. When we talked about meditation on emptiness, you were talking about, sorry, Annabelle, you were saying meditation on emptiness, not in the body or mind.
In the English, in the meditations on emptiness of self in English, Noel, including, I just looked at the text that we're studying, it basically just says to analyze whether you can find the I in the body or the mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we are looking in the body, that's one of the 5 aggregates. When we're looking at the mind, it seems to be implicit that that is just the 4 other aggregates. So you go through the 4 other aggregates, and that's considered to be mind, loosely. Is that correct? Is that the correct way to meditate?
Right. So the better nang no like na so the company la gomne come to and then so nga say the kaba tu the supala yona and lola yona right and then also the pongbona right the and so for the sukre and a losena the pongbo shi shenta the la circuits the lapna triggers
loss the air.
Re, also the nga the tambo also namgyun nga the supala yona the supore and the seven the supomena then lola yona then losena the pongbo plakpa shi shenta la second did you get
it choada diga lola den yo diga yorba what
yeah yes, that is correct. It is correct to say that on the one hand, yes, one can engage in that meditation of looking for the self in the body, and then when it says if it's not in the body, one is now looking in the mind, one can assume that that is, yes, referring to the remaining 4 aggregates.
And daga yang oh da di na subu khora pumbu khora ya rangwen de zhumen de se dokwa yong ya pumbu de ya pumbu cha cha mong bu la den de zhub de wa zhi wa ya ro wa de ro da de
one extends that meditation to for example in the initial part to looking for the self in the body, in the physical body. That we look on the body as a whole, but then we can extend that to go, okay, could I look into the limbs of the body, the arms, the legs, and so on, and the different parts of the body to continue on that analysis of where this inherently existence I could possibly exist.
But pumbu khoras goda. Ya pumbu
in the
khora raw to metas dokwa chungura ta. Nga round the drum dos. Ine pumbu round to metas ya dokwa yong sibra.
Yes.
Yeah. So like
yeah. And they kind of saying too into the aggregates, the aggregates as well as a category of the collection of aggregates. You see, looking for the inherently existent I in the aggregates themselves, not just separately body and mind, but as a whole as well.
Aggregate on self, or khoraya, and I'm going to do a medical. Nga rawan ma da jik samta yan pumbo khoraya ya rawan ta rawan do ba chok kaya meeting samta goro da.
Yes. And so it's so again as extending it, not just looking into the selfless, the entity-lessness of a self, but the entity-lessness of phenomena in the context of using that meditation to say that the aggregates themselves lack any objective existence as well. They are lacking any inherently existent entity-ness. So I'm saying that basically the conclusion is that all phenomena lack any objective existence. And even emptiness is empty.
the caso de Tomani waters and that, the Sanja Comatu and Nadia called the John and Nimeki or the Lotte, Nimeki Watch, and simply the Sanja Comatu and Niki is never Lot Takara and Taveki watch to choose some such water, Permanimata, some what is it? That to see that to some cousin was calling Yanju Kikuor, Najucula, Tomani Togo, Najucula, because of the Janju some Kiko, Kiko the Jumten to some tan any, they choose some else, or Nimata, Pamata, Tavet, and Samatana was a twice you marry. Because one of the top of the Kiko is that to see those Cogo there and Yanju some Samata and Yanju some Tagara and Rani the Pamata to something. Tomani Samata, the Lot Tagara. And you make it was substance, you know, Janju sem come, just come a lot tagara, and David was some of them was a Tobacco your hata, Pamada, Yamada, David, there's the call, decorations on the Samatana.
Now we continue this final meditation that we center on focusing at our heart level. And here we're going to establish again an appropriate seat on which to invite the Guru Maninda Vajradhara, who is on our crown. And so we again meditate on renunciation, and from that mind of definite emergence from cyclic existence, from that very thought of that, we emanate the lotus seat at the base there, and then reflecting on again this I wanting to attain enlightenment and so on. The I doing this practice is lacking any objective existence, is merely imputed by thought, or the I that we search for not finding, that mere absence, the lack of the object of negation. From that mind itself, from that thought, again the sun disk emanates on top of the lotus. And again, looking into the implications of the fact of there being a lack of any objective existence, or lack of any independent existence, which implies that phenomena arise independent, therefore establishing that the law of cause and effect is valid, and that we can aim to attain a state of enlightenment to benefit all sentient beings by establishing the suitable causes that will bring about that result. And so we develop the sense of the mind of enlightenment is possible and is absolutely necessary, and that brings forth the moon disk that completes the preparation of the seat for our invitation. And I really emphasize this instilling of these meditations on renunciation, on emptiness, on bodhicitta, when we are visualizing like this, because these are essential realizations. We have to realize renunciation, we have to realize emptiness, we have to realize bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. And so we need to be able to at every possible opportunity, bring forth the kind of familiarity with those concepts, with those ideas in our minds. And this is a very important point in doing so. And that otherwise, what we are doing, putting down a moon disk, putting down a lotus, putting down a sun disk, we're just simply decorating. That's all. It's just some, interior decorating. But when we imbue it with this meaning, it becomes much more meaningful.
What are the nature and the baths from the end? I'm doing Neta, and Rangi, what is but it's a level dining of the Kuzu to dress with Tambukas, Nibaka, Sumeko, Television. That Sanjay Kuma Mother with the Dutch also Kawako, and then I'm doing Neta in the Tika Tojika with Sangavachi, interested like a stem sort of chechen. But then the next 2 minutes, what the compassion. And then that Rangi used to talk that the lama shaja sange so tele wese chuna range chiwone kandi ka bolo wese chobala tene range lu nga yisunge sabe tikpa de tiba ta ne shenge ane range ta tomba da tamse da mabo khelle ne ta mozo le tangbo inza somsom ta chola mo butugo yorwa ta dige tana le ne basawa tikba ta damje chuba dela de tikba de tiba kharsa dige nga ma ta chete zamari kyawa nga ma de nga ma thoma me bane ta ka chwa ta 샤네 야고 지금 좀 소산사 아니 케바도야다 소소게 제 최주의 개개 치낭 사수의 받체 다네 세계 사롱 틱레게 겨 같이 쉬어봐네 디가바 자수 내가 자수 삼사체 학도도 탐에게 낭생데 땅에서 뉴도 산제 고마도 탐에게 나시 겨 치슈지 뭐 있어 탐에게 나시 겨 탐자자 가난 탐자 다바람자 바시 차도와 야고 지금 좀 소좀 가고
And so now we invite the figure of Guru Maninda Vajradhara from our crown down to our heart center. Oh, glorious and precious Rupa Guru, come take a lotus and moon disc, seat here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness, bestow on me the powerful attainments of your body, speech, and mind. And we, again, with the first recitation, the figure begins the journey down through our crown chakra, down through our central channel. With the second, arrives on the seat, and with the third again, attains that sense of steadfast stability on our seat, that they will be with us until we attain that state of enlightenment again. And again, we have that sense of great joy at this, and that then the petals of the lotus that we have visualized fold upwards and enfold the figure of Guru Maninda Vajradhara, and they are sealed at the center by a white vajra. And then they are surrounded by the three mantras, and from within the figure of Guru Maninda Vajradhara sends out countless rays of light that permeate through the lotus leaves, and indeed they fill every atom of our body from tip to toe, and that all of our negativities of body, speech, and mind are completely purified, and that all the kind of unskillful actions of negativity and negative actions that we engage in as beginners are completely and utterly purified, and that not just in this life, but in all of the lives since beginning as time. And not only that, but especially that we are endowed now with all of the conducive conditions for practice, that we are really all set up for a wonderful practice. And in particular, we are now saying goodbye to the fault of ordinary appearance, of seeing things in their ordinary sense, and we gain the purified, enlightened viewpoint. And so this is the point that we, when we have reached at the meditation. And then through the combination of my own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, and the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body is transformed into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own mind is transformed into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And now I attain that state whereby my own body, speech, and mind become indivisible from the mind, body, speech, and mind of an enlightened being. And this place also now is completely purified of all fault and is transformed into the palatial abode of an enlightened being. This brings forth bliss in the mind, combined with emptiness, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
라 라마 샤자스 그 안에 더 구송도 거 예매 주발에 투가래 셈제가 장단냐고 왜세 트네 아니 저 감성제 셈제 탐자라 아니 왜세도 포알을 때네 아니 대라 셈제 탐자자 아니 다 가서도 라마 샤자스 그 교수 삼사체 대다 내 대다 탐자자 아니 라마 샤자스 그 셰할 교수 삼사체 어떤지
Now, seeing ourselves as the fully enlightened being, we send out countless rays of light, equal in number to all the sentient beings in existence. And wherever they are in that existence, the light touches them, and they automatically arise as fully enlightened beings. And the place in which they are is completely purified of all faults and becomes purified Buddha realm.
다 심지어 탐제가 된 중에서 다 니마 드린 쪽도 선다 가고.
And again, this is a moment of tremendous rejoicing that we realize that we have fulfilled the purpose of bringing all the sentient beings to enlightenment, fulfilling the purpose of all sentient beings. How wonderful.
다 자고 싶어 줘서 왔다 가고. 왔다. 다다다 뭐가 이제 잘못이야 말이야. 얘네야 되게 사배서로 쟤는 되게 유죄네. And
we know, of course, that we are operating at the level of our own imagination. This is not the reality. This is simply what we're visualizing and doing so. But we make a powerful pledge in our dedication that this is creating some little seed, some little cause that soon, as quickly as possible, I can make this visualization, this imagination, really manifest for real.
What is that? What did it? Nima chache, che jachimbushta tamde, she was majuan, Nima chache, the samata, and so shoga in the samata, and the Nimekola soso, Legend, Misuda Tuba, and Tita Jawa, you can sort of chimbayina, Luchu, Jonga, Nishu, Tata, then there soso cheddar, Joyce Tigre. And it did that. Chimala cake that devoted Yanamanetta.
And so, when we really genuinely embrace this kind of practice, this kind of reality, really put our heart and soul into it, we can see that slowly it will have that the result of transforming our mind. And if we look back after 10 or 15 years, we should look back and see, oh, what great progress has been made, and what seemed so impossible back then is now within reach. And so very, very important to be able to do this. And to make, then we are on the road really to making this life as meaningful as we possibly can. And therefore, nothing to worry about in the future lives. Everything will be looked after.
치외체 치면도 강이 미도 폐미도 봐 이자 다 되게 폐도 그렇다 폐도는 되어다 어디 폐도 그래 어디죠.
And so this is what is meant when we say death is definite. The time of death is indefinite, but only our spiritual practice will be of benefit to us at that time of death. And so this is what it means. So we do our final Lamrim dedication prayer. I got my prayer book. From my two collections, vast space that I have amassed,
working with this practice for a great length of time.
They become the chief leading Buddha.
For all those whose minds, wisdom, eyes, blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may it hold me in your loving compassion for our lives, and you should upon the greater parts of teachings, and may I always righteousness by my practice. This is a skillful means brought by the strong force of compassion, and I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, the points of the path as I am certain. I have followed Buddha's teachings for a very long time. My heart goes out with great compassion in the direction of his precious teachings, not just spread and climb. May it reveal the treasure of happiness and ease. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted perfect peace, and Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. Even this greater path to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity, create positive conditions, practicing excellent paths, never be parted in any of their lives, whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the temple of undivided practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion not ended through existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Rajapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages and land of snow, Losang Rakpa, at your feet I make request.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Tukchana.
Hey, kira sandale, chachidele churo. Kira sanda? Sanda?
Sanda.